Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to guide you through a self-guided foam rolling trigger point release. So starting from the top to the bottom, we're going to give our body a little bit of love today. So grab your foam roller, doesn't really matter what length, and meet me here on your mat. Alright, so we're literally going to start from the top and go down to our toes. So nose to toes basically today. You're going to bring yourself on your roller with it the short way. So if your roller is shorter than mine, it will still work. And just bring it kind of across your shoulder blades and then walk your feet so that it ends up a little bit higher. Now our hands are going to come behind the head. And we're just going to start to go side to side, just kind of finding the right position on the roller. And maybe the shoulders want to open up a little bit more here. Just kind of releasing what we need to. And then we're going to add a hip lift. So you're going to curl your tail up to the ceiling and find where you can just make a small movement forward and back. So what we're trying to do is get into that upper trap that likes to take over a lot of our neck tension. So just rolling back and forth, noticing what it feels like for your body. And breathing into it. Maybe we need to walk the feet in a little bit more to give ourselves some more press. Oh, I'll be honest, I could just do this the whole time, but the rest of my body probably needs it too. So maybe we start to make this a little bit bigger, coming down the rest of the back, and then pulling with our hamstrings to come back to the shoulders. And then we inhale to press ourselves up, maybe looking at the toes, ending up just below the base of your scapula, and then inhale as you come over. Exhale, curling, looking, and inhale, pull it in. We'll do one last time here, press it away. And then I want you to let your butt come down and add a nice big stretch over the roller. Give myself a little bit more room. And just relax here. So trying to open up our diaphragm before we move on. Just catching our breath. So we'll start to bring our chin to the chest and roll up. From here, your hands come to the roller or maybe our forearms, and we're going to roll it down into the small of our back. So you're going to let your hips lift, hands again come behind the head, and we're going to start to get into the small of the back. So if this is too much for your core, you can bring your hands behind and start to maybe use them to apply a little bit more pressure. And then I'm going to come back on my mat. Get away here. So rolling out the small of your back, using your hands or not using your hands, you decide. And then we begin to take it into the sacral spine. So a little bit lower, going to your tailbone, and then back into the lower back. And then maybe we find a spot on the tailbone where you can just kind of take the legs side to side. So again, kind of smashing out any tension in the small of the back. And this should feel good. But if it doesn't, don't do it. And now we're going to move into the glutes. So you're going to sit on top of the roller. And if you need to move forward more, like you're running out of space behind you, roll it on forward. And then we're going to start with our sits bones on top. So just keeping the arms in front, you're going to roll forward and then sit up tall, roll it back. So kind of using the feet and our abs to roll forward and back. Exhale, curl. Inhale, lift. And then we'll start to go down. And then again, maybe find where we can take it side to side. Seeing what happens. Let's take our hands behind us. Get a little bit more stretch. So maybe start to push into that sits bone. Forward and back there. And then come up and over. It's almost starting to find our IT band, which we'll get to. And come up and over here. And then we're going to take left ankle over the right knee and just continue back and forth here, finding your piriformis of your left leg. And then we'll hold it. And then just take that stretch over. And then back to center, crossing over to the right. And then come back to center. Now from here, we're going to turn towards the right. So your left foot's going to come down. You're going to turn around and find your right sits bone. So we're going to start to roll for the right IT band. Rolling forward and back. Applying enough pressure that it feels like you're rolling it out thoroughly, but not so much that you're screaming, right? Happy medium. Ooh. And then we're gonna let this kind of continue. I'm pushing from my toes here. Continue to the top of your hip. We're gonna come down to the forearm, and we're just gonna kind of go forward and back here. Ooh. This is just where my body needs it. If you find a different spot, feel free to get into there. And then we'll start to come back up. So pushing into the right hand, holding with the left to bring the roller back underneath us. And then let's continue this all the way onto your belly. And let your left leg come out to the left. So kind of coming full circle here. Now we're going to get the front of the right hip. So we just did the side. Now we're going forward and back, finding our hip flexor or our top of our quad maybe, if that's where we need it more. Ooh. And then maybe you can find where you can kind of rock and roll into it. Just finding again the sweet spot. Oh. This is getting really intense for me. Oh yeah. And then we'll start to come back. Oh. And we'll hit that other side. So resetting with our sits bones on top. We take our hands behind, left ankle over, or no, we did that. Right ankle over the left knee, and then roll forward and back. So now we're gonna start to find right piriformis, and then we'll be going to our left hip flexor / IT band. And this is usually how I'll roll my body out at the end of the day. This is how I go from the top to the bottom. It just makes sense to me. It lets me do it the quickest. And then you'll sleep better at night. And then we'll just find that right piriformis where it's a little bit tighter and just take the knees to the right and then back over to the left. So again, we're smashing out that piriformis and glutes. Right, maybe the glute med is a little tighter. And then we're going to take the knees all the way over to the left of you. Take your right hand on top of the roller. Left hand stays behind it. And we're just going to move forward and back now, pushing with the right foot, guiding the roller with your right hand. You can use the hand in front of you to kind of determine how much of your body weight you're putting on the roller. So almost pushing up so that you're not putting all of your weight on the roller. It can get really intense here. And then we find that little sweet spot. It's probably different on either side of your body, so when you find it, just rock and roll there. Oh. And then come down a little bit lower find maybe the top of the hip crease, right where we need to go. And then we're gonna continue onto the belly and move the roller over. If your roller is shorter, it's easier. And then the right leg just comes out to the side and we come forward and back on our left hip flexor. So just using forearms. So pull yourself in and then press it away. Again, pushing into the right leg to help lift you away from the roller if you don't like the feeling of all your body weight on there. We'll just do one last time forward and back. And then start to bring it back to your side. And then come back to seated on top. A little around the world there. So now we're gonna move down to the hamstrings and we'll eventually get down ankles and work our way back up to the quads. So you're gonna come behind the roller and bring it right behind your kneecaps. And then from here, we're gonna use the hands to roll ourselves back and forth. You know what, let's do this with a single leg. Change my mind. So let's just slide the roller over. If you're shorter, your roller's shorter, makes more sense. So keeping your left foot grounded, you're gonna push yourself forward and back on that hamstring, kind of finding where it wants to go. Mine wants to go to the outside of my leg, so just play with that there. And maybe finding just behind the knee where you can take the leg side to side. And then we'll continue on the same side to bring it to the calf, starting at the top, rolling forward and back, maybe bending the knee. Maybe we keep our butts down this time. Just really depends what feels right for you. I'm gonna lift my hips because I need more weight on there. So pulling in and out. And then again, we just kind of find the sweet spot side to side. And then we'll slide our roller over and do this again on the left side. So left hamstring starts, right foot is on the mat, and we just roll forward and back. So using our arms, and because we're using our arms to push ourselves in most of these myofascial releases for the legs, we're gonna end with the arms. So they're gonna get a little extra attention at the end. Maybe noticing side to side if this left side is different for you. Maybe we need a little inner thigh here. And then a little smash side to side, roll it out. Ooh, this one's tighter. Hello. And then we're gonna move it to our calf. And again, we bring it in and out, keeping your butt down or lifting it for more weight into your roller. And then maybe a little side to side. Smash it out. Maybe flex and point the ankle if that feels good. Starts to bring a little bit of a stretch in there. All right, and then we're gonna bring our roller. Let's start with our left shoulder. You're gonna start with it kind of right at the middle of your rib cage. So you're gonna lay down on it, and then we're gonna start to roll back and forth. So kind of lifting up the hips, pushing with the feet. It's not a huge movement, but you're definitely gonna feel it. It's almost becoming the torso here lifting and lowering. So pulling up and pushing forward into it. We're gonna start to get into our lats, so that's what you should be feeling now, bottom of the armpit, back side of the shoulder blade. I want you to find that connection and just kind of lean away from it. Oh, right where it starts to get a little bit sticky, I guess is the right word. And then you're gonna start to come back and get the back of the armpit. Oh, that's where it gets tight for me. So just using this hand on top again, just find the right amount of pressure. And then I'm gonna roll onto my back a little bit here and let my head come onto the roller and work on retracting and protracting my left shoulder blade. So pulling it in and then pushing it away. My right one's just hanging out above me, just because that's where it wants to be. And then you're gonna roll forward. Ooh, watch your hair getting stuck. And we're gonna go over the roller this way. So finding where you're getting a little bit into the pec muscle in front of you. Ooh. And depending on the density of your roller, this may or may not be like really super intense. Definitely don't want any of the little knobbies on your foam roller for these. And then maybe we just make some circles. Ooh. And if any of these, I guess, different body parts feel like you need to be there longer, then pause it and stay there longer. Listen to what your body needs. This is really just an overview of how you can foam roll your body, right? Maybe it's just a matter of making the right amount of time for it. Ooh, all right, and then let's take it up nice and slow from here. Maybe a little press away from cross-legged, and we just stretch over and pull it back in. So we'll try to find our forearm on there. Get a little bonus right side body stretch the whole time. So rolling it away, reaching the right, pulling in from the left, come back. And then we'll take our roller over to the right of us. Ooh. And then start with the arm over, kind of center of the ribs again. We'll pick up the hips until it feels good there. And then start to just move forward and back, kind of pushing from the legs and the torso and the left hand on top. Finding that lat, back side of the shoulder. And then maybe we take it back and find that reach and roll forward and back. Lifting the ribs up and down, up and down is going to give you that movement. And then we'll come forward, oof, and just make that little roll happen, kind of bringing it into the pec muscle more. And the bottom of your armpit into your bicep, that's your bicep femoral head, and it feels really intense. Push the roller a little higher, it might feel better for you. Or it might feel worse. Really just depends how tight you are. So then just kind of going back and forth, the bottom of the armpit on the roller. Ooh. And then maybe we lift the arm and find those little reaches, let the neck go. And then we'll start to bring it into our tricep a little bit more. And roll it up slowly. And we'll again do that little side body stretch, rolling out the forearm and reaching our left. We inhale to come back. Exhale to reach. So it's almost like a little mermaid. And if that leg position makes more sense to you, if you know what I'm talking about, go for it. Inhaling over, maybe looking up, and then back in with the roller. And then if you have a long roller like I do, little bonus stretch for you, you're going to turn your roller and then bring yourself on top of it, seated at the long side, the far end, and then lay down until your head is also connected. So our whole spine is on here lengthwise, and this is really the best part about having a long roller is you get this part. You're gonna start with reaching the arms up, and then let them fall back behind you, spreading those fingers wide, and then come back up. So almost like you're just letting the shoulder blades find where they go around the space of the roller and stretching in between that space. So we inhale the arms over, exhale to come back up. Shoulders are getting wider and wider as we do this movement. Inhaling over, exhaling back up. Maybe taking note here if one hand can reach the floor, if one can't, if neither can't, if both of them can, I don't know, making some notes as to what's going on in your body. My right one does not get there, at least at the same pace that my left one can. I really have to reach for it. So just noticing where maybe your body is holding back more, and maybe you take some extra time to roll that spot out more. Just shows you that your body needs a little bit of love for those imbalances. And then let's come over and hold this one here. And now we're gonna move out to the side with the right arm. So left arm will stay above, right arm comes down to the side, keeping the fingertips connected to the floor. From here, the arms are gonna switch. So the right arm moves from the side of you up to above your head, keeping the fingers connected to the mat, and the left arm moves down to the side. And then we switch them again. So they're each drawing a little semicircle on the floor, and it should feel really nice for your shoulders. And all the while, our spine is elongating on this roller, reaching the tailbone over, reaching the crown of your head in the opposite direction. And then one last time we'll switch. Oh, just feels so nice. And then switch with the right last time coming up. Now both arms are up above for the last nice big inhale. Reach, that stretch should feel good. And then exhale, start to take the arms back in front of you or up above you. And then from here, you're just gonna go a little side to side. So I go wider with my feet, just so I don't fall. Kind of go side to side. Maybe we take the arms, let them drop. Oh yeah, that feels right. If it doesn't feel right for you, you can change it, but that's what feels right. Maybe relaxing the jaw here. And then when you feel complete, you'll begin to roll yourself up, or choose a side to roll off to. It doesn't have to be pretty, you just have to get there. And you'll start to make your way to a seated position. So I'm gonna pick a side, and I'm gonna come up slow. See, doesn't have to be pretty. And just make your way up to seated for just a final moment of gratitude, I guess. So taking your hands to your heart, bow your head, give yourself some credit for making time for your body today, even though it was just foam rolling, right? Maybe it wasn't something that you would have done for yourself if you didn't set out that time. So give yourself some credit, right? We did it, we got through it. Some places felt better than others, but hopefully we made some mental notes so we can go back and give those areas some extra attention. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a good one.